Well, hello. I thought I was going to be the only one here. So my Oscars are in the tank with two blue Acaras, a Seminosis, and a common pleco, and they're loving their space. This is my ruby green hap and OB tank with the petricola. And it's amazing. What do you mean you can leave? I pinned the thing for you. I just figured there's so many. Yeah, I moved virtually every tank, and my generic cichlids, which half of them I don't think I know what they are still in the living room because the 60-gallon tank is leaking and I have to finish taking out the rocks, making sure it's really dry and resealing it. I would switch 60-gallon tanks, but it's too hard to get the 60-gallon tank out of where it is without moving everything. So I'll just reseal it now that I know I can reseal things. And the goldfish tank is awaiting its goldfish. I know Kevin just said, "What, your friends don't want to talk to you?" I said, "No, they're all playing World of Warships." Okay, not everybody. But it was pretty cool watching the two Oscars swim back and forth. Unluckily, I think I blew the light out. So they're kind of in the dark. But they'll get a new light. You're everybody? Nah, you're just full of yourself. And let's see. I did rat cages. Yeah, it really is, except now I'm sort of to that point where I just have to like finish all the stupid little stuff. Oh, I know they don't need a light, but I want to see them. um, I have one more rat cage to build. I need to build a rack for the snakes, fix lights. Um, I have one um, dragon blood in the Mangano tank, which I have to get out because it's kind of being picked on. But I don't want to take all the rocks out to catch it, so I'm just trying to like catch it when it's not hiding. And this guy, man, this hap, he's all fired up. He is so dark green and so red. So I'm pretty happy with everything where it is and how it is. Ah, yes. I'm actually have a large spaghetti monster sticker on the way because, well, I think they're morning glories. They're fake. Um, They like hanging out in the leaves, so I hung some silk plants in there, and they usually last about a year and a half before they're just falling apart and they really need to be replaced. I don't know what it is. It was pretty and soft. So it gives them something to hang out in. And it looks good on the background because the background is the bottom half of Van Gogh's Irises painting, which has some purple in it. And the top half is the background for the Oscars. But yeah, since you do your worshiping of the spaghetti monster in the bathroom, the tank that's directly across from my toilet, the background is going to be the spaghetti monster in the back of the parrot tank. So I can do my proper worship and be a good spaghetti monster worshiper. Do it like in the book. I mean, Spaghetti Monster. Well, yeah, it's actually the Flying Spaghetti Monster. There's a whole religion which is actually a real religion based on the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and it includes pirates and fish skeletons, Yeti and spaghetti. Um, and they have some like very bizarre doctrines which are pretty cool. But one of them is, where do you have the most wasted space? Yeah, you can look it up. There's lots of information. Is like when you're in the bathroom, you have lots of wasted time just sitting there. So that's the time to reflect on the Flying Spaghetti Monster. That's one of the things that I always remember the most about the Flying Spaghetti Monster. So I have the background done except for, well, yeah, not as cool, but I mean, the Flying Spaghetti Monster is a real religion. I mean, if you're an ordained minister, you can really marry people. You can even get your driver's license with wearing your colander. Yeah, but it's a good mocking religion. And hey, who doesn't love pasta? Well, that's true, Roundhouse. Someone made up all religions. But I can really get behind the Flying Spaghetti Monster and his noodly appendages with meatball eyes. So I have like that background to finish and the background for the goldfish. And everything else is pretty much done. I have a, let's see, a piece of wood in this one and a piece of wood in the Mangano tank, which they're still floating. So eventually they'll sink. Now I think that, let's see. No, I guess the Easter Bunny is before the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I have had lots of dancing going on with all these fish, but it's sort of surprising because now that they're all separated, there's a lot more aggression going on because there aren't as many fish. They've been split up, so there's less fish in the tanks. So it's kind of interesting to watch their behavior. He's just totally fired up. I mean, that guy, he's been spending all day chasing females and trying to get them into his corner. I actually believe in what came before the giant pink and lavender cockroaches. Because the giant pink and lavender cockroaches are as close as you can get to God. But that's a whole other story. Yeah, my dad and I were talking about Doppler radar and the fact that the universe is expanding, but like the galaxy Andromeda is moving towards us. And let's see. He wants to calculate the speed that the universe is expanding, something like that. No, it's those guys with little penises and big trucks who are closer to heaven. And I noticed I'm probably going to get dinged for my photograph, but it is art. I guess I never noticed it. That's pretty bad. Well, I wouldn't know about that. Not something I've ever done. Too old to do drugs. Yeah, and luckily none of us will be here to experience it. My dad went to a speech given by a woman. It was basically her master's thesis about how stars are formed. And I sort of, hey, DRB, I sort of felt bad for her because he explained that he was probably the only one in the audience that understood what she was saying because she was talking way, way above everybody's head. And that was probably one of the reasons she didn't get any questions at the end, because nobody understood what she was saying. And, you know, he explained that these people, you know, they don't even have like a bachelor's in astronomy. So, you know, they just can't possibly conceive what she's saying. But my dad had fun. So, exactly. Shouldn't use big words. Well, and he said some of the concepts that, you know, she was discussing, you don't learn until you're at the end of your master's. And so it was just, you know, and people don't understand the physics behind everything. Although for him, it was a really good talk. But That Petricola is so cool, and he's so much happier to be by himself without the other synonosises. I'd say he rules the underworld. But yeah, it's been pretty interesting watching these guys now that I have them separated like I like them, except for the one Dragon Blood. But yeah, the FSM is an interesting thing to read up on. I've known about it for like, how can you be afraid? Well, I guess you could be afraid of hippos because they are monstrous. Like some guy made friends with a hippopotamus and they were like best friends until the hippo reached sexual maturity and then it like ate him. Just like that. Chomp. Fear of long words. Okay. I thought it meant fear of hippopotamuses. Yep. You would think fear of long words would be a short word. But they just had to make it long. I didn't really have any phobias. A little bit of heights, but not too much. Mostly man-made heights. Because they fall down. It's that planned obsolescence. Clowns. I have an acquaintance who's afraid of frogs. And she lives like in southern Texas where there are lots of frogs. And like one time she came home and there was a frog sticking to her door and she called her friend to remove the frog so she could get in her house. It's like, it's just a frog. It's not like a toad. It won't give you warts. Well, and it wasn't one of those licking frogs. I don't think I'd like licking a frog. So, Danny, is that clownophobia? See, why can't it just be easy like clownophobia, hippophobia? Yeah, clowns are pretty creepy. They're always smiling. Never trust anybody who's always smiling, especially when it's painted on. You know, I really don't think that she's a shooting type person. Oh, they're fighting. Shame on you. And that's number 2 and number 3 in the pecking order. That's not even number 1. Oh, and one of the fish that I got that we were discussing the other day that kind of looked like some sort of jewel cichlid, I put him in with the 5-star general. And although he's being a little bit shy, he's really colored up. Like his bottom half and his lips are and his tail are like bright red. God, no meat to harvest. I don't think you could get. Oh, I love frog legs. I don't think you could get her to eat a frog though. She doesn't even like crawdads, and she lives in Texas. Sort of makes me wonder where she's from originally. Well, as long as they don't kill each other, it's nice to watch them. The Oscars were just kind of confused at first. They just sat there in the middle of the tank and like looked off to the sides. And then it was, okay, well, let's see. Wow, I can keep swimming and swimming and swimming. Oh, got to turn around, but I can swim and swim. Makes me very happy that they're in like a nice big tank. And I read a couple of places where the blue acaras get along with the Oscars, and they really do. I mean, the blue acaras aren't hiding, they're all swimming around. The Oscars don't bug them. Yeah, I think I saw something about that. Nah, they're adult acaras, so I have to get a bigger and a smaller pellet. But I'm going into town tomorrow because the pellets that I got are kind of too small for the Oscars, a little bit big for the acaras, and the other ones are just more for these guys. So they're eating flakes right now, which is fine. It just makes more of a mess. And there appears to be a difference between turtle river shrimp and fish river shrimp because the Oscars don't like the turtle river shrimp. I think the Zuned river shrimp spoiled them. What? What, boogie boogie? Yeah, when I was at Aquashella, and they were closing the Zoomed guy, I was looking at the river shrimp, and he goes, the big jar, of course. And he said, well, do you have anything that eat it? And I said, well, my Oscars love shrimp. And he says, well, then why don't you take it? And it was like, oh, yes. You know, that was the only thing that like I didn't order this month was more Oscar pellets. So I need to get Oscar pellets. I just always get confused, you know, what size. Enough. Hey, I'm talking. Yeah, Mom, that's why we're talking. Because you're talking. And we don't hear any response. So we're going to respond to you. And I got most of my stuff organized. I got all my hay for my rats and chips for the rats and the substrate for the snakes and bugs. Okay, right now, go pack it and get it ready. He's so colored up. This camera doesn't do him justice. He really is an awesome groomer. Now, earthworms, that's an idea. I could go dig some up. Oh, they're just going to make noise. All right, you guys. Enough. They never know when enough is enough. They just want to bark, bark. Okay, let's try this. Here we go. Attack. Oh, you took it right off. Well, the little ones tried. I have three really small, or three small. Well, be careful with ladybugs. You know, ladybugs will make their mouths numb. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I know they make people's mouths numb. So I need to get a couple of like different colored OBs to go with these OBs. And then a couple more of the oh, June bugs bite. We have these striped, they look like June bugs, but they're striped. And they grabbed onto my friend's schnauzer, and that poor dog was freaking out. Somebody must have ran off with the one that they knocked off the glass. I really should use this food. I went through and, well, let's see, my dad's friend got rid of his goldfish about 3 years ago. So I went through everything and decided that 3-year-old food and definitely 3-year-old chemicals were probably a bit on the old to use. And I don't need pH ups and pH downs. Oh, rhino beetles are cool looking. I still want a giant burrowing cockroach. Australia has all the cool bugs. Yeah, the only I get moths and flying ants in the fish tanks, but nobody likes to eat them. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah, I just want to turn on a light and see how my tank decor looks and stuff. Oh, well, according to my boyfriend's grandfather, who died a while ago, that is the best bait to catch fish. And it's like, okay. And in the next few weeks, if I'm kind of snappy, it's only because I'm sort of being forced to quit smoking. Oh, I don't think I'd like a giant school of fish swimming around my butt. Yeah, ant lions. There's a bunch of really cool, like funnel web spiders. I love orb spiders. They get really big. My parents had a spider which I was not able to identify, but it was white with a big smiley face on it. It was a really cool looking spider. Oh! Yeah, I need to find like a white OB and a yellow OB. Oh! Probably its body the size of a quarter, not very big. And I'd love to get a jumping spider. I had one living on my desk in Colorado. Yeah, exactly, June. Perfect. My my daughter, hey, my daughter wanted to broom all my spider webs away, and I said no, not the ones near the ceiling, because they catch mosquitoes and flies, and they're a good natural pest eliminator. I like most any kind of bug. The bigger, the better. It's like I don't have a lot of flies because they get stuck in the spider webs. Hey, excuse me, Karma Boogie. Do I need to separate you two? Yeah, I couldn't. I had a Venus flytrap, but it didn't like me. It died. It's a plant. Oh, I love when they pour the molten aluminum down the ant holes and make the ant hole ant sculptures. Those are so cool. Yeah, ants are horrible. Yeah, I use cotton balls, um, peppermint oil. Yeah, anything that flies will get caught by a cat. I have a couple of dogs which are pretty good at catching things. And I have no mice in my room. Mice don't stand a chance. Not with my rat killing dog. Sort of amazing that they're not as interested in the tabs as other fish. No, it's because ants don't taste good. They taste like formic acid. Who wants to eat acid? I definitely have tank bosses now. There is something to be said for overcrowding. Oh, I like chocolate covered honey ants. A golf tee. Wow. Well, at least he caught something. He should be proud of himself, learning how to be a cat. I got my mom these really shiny, crackly, $half size fish, and the cat just loves them. Carries them all over the house. She sleeps with them. The Daniels would probably like these Ceratabs. Cats are really smart about becoming humans. My mom's cat's kind of human. And so is Dizzy, Adele's cat. A rare ragdoll. She has energy and runs around like crazy. I mean, ragdolls themselves are fairly rare. I mean, when I used to breed Korats, nobody knew what they were. I always wanted a Maine Coon, but I like giant cats, so. So I was thinking of getting one more Oscar. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I haven't seen that color. My first purebred was Red Point Siamese. Ate about 3/4 of a Velcro blanket. See, I thought the eye biter would be the tank boss in here, but I guess after losing his girlfriend, he just doesn't have it anymore. Poor guy. Oh, now that is a really cool color cat. I've always liked blue points, but that sepia is really nice. Yeah, he's colored up not as much as he was when he had his girlfriend, but he still is colored up. I'd say probably 2/3 of what he was, maybe half of what he was. Of course, he doesn't flash anymore. I may have to try and find him another female. It sort of cracks me up because these guys like the OBs like the grayish plant and the haps like the flower plant. And they kind of like stay in the middle all the time and stare at me. Well, the ruby greens are haps and the OBs are who knows what. I know some of them are peacocks. So I figured he should probably go in with the haps. I probably have some of the Kenyas in with the regular peacocks. I know I have one male in there, but the two males were just like, I mean, they were like being totally crazy. I mean, yeah, see, they could be umbunas and they could be peacocks. Ooh, Balana, I like that name. I mean, once you get down to that, figuring out who's a peacock and who's an umbuna, I had a hard enough time figuring out what was a cichlid versus a Kenyi. You know, the peacocks versus the Kenyis, because the blue striped ones look basically the same. So I just did the best I could, and everybody seems fairly happy where they are. Oh, that's nice, June. Wow. It's a chocolate kitty. Looks good enough to eat. But nobody bites, so how do I know it has teeth? No. The only one that bites is my rat. I have a very bitey rat who's going to meet her end once I get an adult snake. She just can't learn not to bite. And rats are supposed to be smart. The only one in here that likes hanging out by the rocks besides the petricola is the super colored male ruby green. He basically owns the left side of the tank. Only if you have good eyes. Well, everybody just everybody just has to be happy where they are. Except for the dragon blood who's going to get moved as soon as I can catch her. Because she definitely doesn't belong in the Mambuna tank. Because the male Kenyi, he's a mean mother. I was really surprised because even though the 5-star general chased the little jewel cichlid, that Turkana is still alive in that tank. Beautiful, beautiful red. Beautiful red. So there's now 4 fish in that tank. The 5-star general, the Turkana, the whatever kind of jewel cichlid it is, and the Chinese algae eater. Because nobody lays around long enough for it to suck their slime coat off. And they say, let's get these things off the glass. Sometimes my service dog, because he has really nice muscles. And I just think Boogie is too fat. And he was doing so good on his diet. And I mean, we haven't increased the food any, but he's just meant to be a fat dog. Now, I don't think a parakeet would be very good. I actually went and got those plastic nail covers that you glue on with super glue. Oh, that was a pain in the butt, and they only lasted like a day. My mom's cat is declawed, but we got her that way. And okay, now here's an embarrassing one, June. I got this cat, and I used to breed cats, right? So you would think you know what an adult cat is, whether it's a male or a female. The vet had a hard time, yeah. The vet had a hard time telling whether she was a boy or a girl, and decided she was probably a girl. And that was after like an ultrasound to see if she had retained testes. And my mom called her Beauty. I mean, such a dumb name. We called her Jabberwocky because she talked a lot. But when my mom's old cat died, And she was sad. We gave her Jabberwocky, who's now like 12, somewhere around 11 or 12 now. Well, my mom's had her for 10 years and she was at least 2 years old. I don't have problems cutting cat nails. Now, dog nails, that's another matter. But at least they're getting used to smelling like cloves. Because I got the Bug MD bug stuff. Works for fleas and ticks. And makes them smell like cloves. They smell really nice. No ticks, no fleas. Well, we don't have fleas here anyway. But cutting nails, that's a chore. I'm finally being able to cut Boogie's nails, but I think that's just because he's so fat, he doesn't want to move. Only if you don't want to look like you've been cutting yourself. Or if they start shredding your furniture. Not that it helps, because then they want to sharpen their claws. But yeah, I really like the tank. I like how all my tanks turned out. And I'm putting the petrified choya in with the goldfish. Yeah, you got to be careful with overlong nails because then they start digging in. Yeah, they'll start digging into their paws. We rescued a cat that had its claws were into its paws. It was horrible. Dog nails are just hard. Well, it's like, okay, my service dog has straight teeth. I mean, he has cone-shaped straight teeth. Now, Smuppy, the rat killer, she has curved teeth. Yeah, I'd almost love a cement backyard just to help keep the dog's nails short. But we're now turning into a mud puddle back there. And of course, I buy them a swimming pool so they can like stay cooler. And I knew they'd fill it with dirt, but now it's raining. So it's just like a giant mud puddle. But the rain's good to help put out the fires, so. The needle claws. Yeah, we can't cut my mom's cat's nails at all. Even changing a collar is hard. When she moved into one of the assisted living places, we had to buy her calming collars. She doesn't need them anymore in the new apartment. We'll see what happens when my mom moves. Unless she just gets so depressed. She turns into, I don't know. I know, I was thinking about going out and buying a pair of leather gloves so I could move this rat to her nursery pen. So I just took her cage and turned it upside down and opened the door and shook her out. It's like, I'm not going to go buy a pair of gloves. It's sort of funny to think that the eye biter is like one of the shyest fish in the tank now. He really needs a lady friend. At least they're one of the fish that you can buy sexed. I don't want to hear about two people. My mother is now going, when I move, I'll be all alone. Well, it's better he uses the doormats than the furniture. See, I can see it now. I'll sit here with a magnifying glass looking at the teeth of my fish, the mouths of all my fish. I always had stiffer, more wiry cats. It's probably because I don't like to brush them. That's why when I got Karma, I looked for the puppy with the shortest fur. So what are you going to do on Canada Day? It'll certainly be a more exciting holiday than today was. I just wanted to go to the post office. Yeah, when you start when they're little, makes it easier. Well, you might have to put a hook on the screen door so he can't open it. Oh, that sounds cool, Chewy. Yeah, I called my dad for Father's Day yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I forgot your brother's birthday yesterday." And I said, "Well, I'll call him today. Wish him a happy Father's Day and late birthday." And then next Saturday is my dad's birthday. I've had my, let's see, third shot, something like that. Fourth shot. I can't even remember anymore. Oh no, it's taking my mind. Well, they're doing a good job at chipping away. Yeah, I guess the next fish will have to be a lady decompresses. A lady eye biter. Yeah, it's only been a year for me because when I went to Aquashella, I got to see my grandkids. Sometimes it works out that way. My kids just think their grandfather's lost it because he keeps writing them letters to dissuade them from being true Texans. And it's like, it's not going to work. Besides, who will we trust when the zombie apocalypse comes? Kids have all the guns. Yeah, my grandson wanted to know if they come up here if he could sleep in the fish room. I had one, but my son-in-law took it. Butthead. And it's not high on the financial list. I I had to buy a roof. Or I'm buying a roof. That was the priority for the next few months is roof. The wind killed my roof. So I'm getting a pro panel roof. Yeah, I guess the 6 hours have been having problems. The wind blew about a third of my shingles off. And I only have like one layer of shingles, so it's down to the like tar paper over the wood. And it seems to happen every year that the older shingles blow off. So if I get a pro panel roof, um, it won't come off like the shingles. I mean, this is what happens when you own a house. Not that I own it yet, it's in a trust. Is I painted the house. And, well, I've had, shingles replaced every few years, but this wind was really bad, so I'm just getting a pro panel roof because they last a long time. And then I still have to get paint to paint the trim and the handicap ramp. And then I can start working on my fence. Well, the basics of the roof, the wind was bad enough here, it probably would have taken off terracotta tiles. I had to have the section under the swamp cooler replaced because the last tenants, the float was wrong and it just leaked all summer long. And it was sort of like, it ruined the inside panel, which I haven't replaced yet. But, with the wood being wet all summer, that had to be replaced. But like my dad says, at least I care about the house and won't let it fall apart. It may not be neat and clean like my mother likes, but at least it is structurally sound. And I don't let broken things stay broken. It's like telling my mom, look, when she called me, well, I called earlier, you don't have to stream yet. And I said, no, Mom, but the neighbor's over here working on the water heater, so. But it won't be fixed until tomorrow or the next day, so it looks like it's cold showers for everybody. Stupid thermocouplers. I still have to go in there and get the make and model, so I can pick up the part tomorrow. Oh, I'm the Jewish American princess. I'm spoiled. I wonder what those tabs taste like. Like, what do they have in them? Are they edible or not? Seronip. Tree without dyes and preservatives, consisting of tablets that can be stuck to the aquarium glass by slight finger pressure. Particularly tasty and rich due to the high amount of food organisms such as krill and bloodworms. Fish meal, sea algae, milk powder, wheat flour, krill, brewer's yeast, wheat gluten. Gotta have your gluten. Cow caseinate, bloodworms, sugar, wheat germ, tubiflex worms, gramineous, spirulina, fish oil, mannan, oligosaccharides, hematochus, algae, cod liver oil, herbs, alfalfa, stinging nettle, green-lipped mussel, parsley, paprika, spinach, garlic, nuts. Complete feed for ornamental fish. It does not say not for human consumption. I think I've spent more than half my life trying to prove that I'm okay to my mom, but it still hasn't worked. The eye biter says, I don't have the mouth to eat these. Yeah, he definitely likes the right side of the tank because he likes hanging out in the plants, pointed down. Munch, munch, munch. I was kind of amazed how fast these guys colored up when I moved them into this tank. It was like the haps were almost immediate. And the OBs went from being sort of faint with spots to much more colorful. Yeah, being a homeowner, you got to fix things. And it's like everyone's going, I don't want to take a cold shower to go visit your mom tomorrow. It's like, well, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Just heat a couple of buckets of water, put it in a 5-gallon bucket with some cool water, and just take a washcloth bath. Because that's as warm as it's going to get. Just a little nib. Come on, you can get that little piece. Ooh, butthead. He says, mine, mine. One little itty bitty piece left. I just can't imagine using these Ceratabs as the complete meal for a fish. I think they're good for treats. But I think they're, oh, what's the protein in these? Yeah, 35. Too high a protein. Not enough veggies. You guys need some spinach like Popeye. Or maybe some zucchini if it hasn't gone up too much in price. They would probably like spinach. I'll have to try it. That guy is just so colored up. I think all the fish should have their own labels so you know what they are. I have that piece of wood up in the corner and the Petricola absolutely loves it. I can't wait till it sinks. Is it a type of beet or just a plant? I'm growing purple glow basil and peppermint. I'm not sure why, but other than peppermint smells good and the basil tastes good. And then when I get my critter cage tank up and running, I'll have wheat grass growing in it. But one thing at a time. These guys these guys have the Van Gogh background. Which is kind of hard to see, but it's back there. This is a weird angle, though. Let's see. It's still hard to see through the water. It's kind of weird because a nice colored up hat underneath that white rock is where the little OBs hang out. And he doesn't bother them. Ah, my mom made rhubarb today. Wow. I moved into a house that had a 6 foot tall celery stalk in it. When I exited with the lawnmower, the whole world smelled like celery. Ah, early rock of the 50s. Older than me, surprisingly. I really need to figure out how to catch this dragon blood. It knows I'm after it. Like Murray Molson. I think that's his name. Nobody knows who he is. I used to have the album of his until my cousin reclaimed it. My friend was punk before punk was popular. I don't know. I've just sort of never really been into music, which is kind of weird. I think I was only punk in dress. Safety pins are our friends. That is such a cool synodontist. Synodontist. Yeah, it was probably no lots of classical with my parents. Said my mom had to sing for Neil Diamond for a while. An opera. Oh, my mom hates the big band era and swing, and she's definitely classical and operas. Mostly Gilbert and no, not even. She likes all operas. We used to go to the opera in Santa Fe. It was nice. Yeah, that's probably true. Boy, I hate paying $50 shipping for one fish. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I have yet another doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I have to pick up a pizza on the way in so I can have lunch with my mother and convince her that the world is not coming to an end. If it was coming to an end, I wouldn't tell her either. Then she'd really have a reason to be depressed. She could force the Jewish guilt on me because I don't want to drive to California. I just can't imagine driving all the way to California with my mother. I don't think I can drive that far anymore anyway. But now I know yeah, there's no way. Oh, I didn't think they bred it in the aquarium. Well, I need to find out if it were a he or a she and find another he or she. I just think it's a beautiful fish. And it really didn't get along with the other synodontists. It's really happy being like by itself. It just swims around and plays. Goes in and out of rocks. It's a fun fish. So anyway, thank you all for coming. I'll see you next Monday. And I'm not taking a cold shower. I'm relaxing, having dessert, and then going to bed. So I can wake up tomorrow and make my mother happy because I'm a good daughter. Not. Okay, take it easy, everybody. Thank you for coming, and I'm out.